everyone, welcome back to our second episode of the Native Diaries. Massive thanks to Alan Hoary for last week, for hosting us, for his flights, for everything we saw. Coming up on the show today, well, we're going to look at my flights in a second. We're going to pop outside. We're going to see, today we're going to focus on goldfinches and we're going to focus on bullfinches. So you know what to do, everyone. Grab yourself a cuppa, sit back and enjoy the show. Hopefully many of you will see that what we've got outside here, we've got a flight now. This flight is 10 foot long. It's the full length of the Canary room. It's only in its biggest, widest place. It's only about 18 inches wide. So it's a little bit of a tight grip to get me in there. But I can get in. I don't need to, is the honest answer, though. I feed the goldfinches at the front, so there's a front feeder here. Just see this behind me, and that's got the goldfinch seed in. We give them the same seed as the rest of the native British finches, with the exception of the bullfinches. We do give them a specific bullfinch mix, but this is a seed. It's got lots of softer seeds in it. There is some plain canary, but I find with the goldfinches, they enjoy the softer seed. Of course, I do give them teasel as well, so I will give them a wild teasel. I'll give them that in a finger drawer. You can maybe not see, but there is a little finger drawer here. I put wild teasel in that for them, and I also give them niger seed as well, or niacin. So they've got that and they seem to enjoy that. Now, as we're coming up to the start of the breeding season, what we've got is we can see the cock actually here displaying some sort of territorial behaviours. Now, that's very common, I've certainly found, with goldfinches. The cock will often sort of start the territory first, if you like. So cock's in there, he's got the territory, he's sort of chasing the hen a little bit. You can see that both of these birds are in quite advanced condition. So it's coming up to the end of March. In fact, when this episode goes out, it'll be, I think, the 2nd of April. Filming just before there, towards the end of March. So the clocks have gone forward, so there's a bit more daylight. Obviously, there's no artificial light in the aviary. They are getting in a little bit better condition. Now, I have bred goldfinches before. I bred Siberian goldfinches and I bred native British goldfinches last year. I got one right up until the molt. And from a diet perspective, one of the things that I will start to introduce this week will be live food, and live food in the form of mini mealworms. Now, the sort of additional protein kick seems to really give these birds a push forward. I have overwintered them in this aviary all over winter. Now, there's no access to an internal flight here. It's quite sheltered. It's in between the garage and the canary room. At the very back of it is a breeze block brick, easy for me to say, sort of wall. So it is quite sheltered on 3 sides, and it's covered on the top as well. And there's some cover on the front too. So it doesn't get exposed to all of the conditions, although that said, in the winter the drinkers did freeze out here. So this is the goldfinch flight. They are sort of pretty much wild, the goldfinches in here. I am looking forward. This is a site. This is actually taken from Alan Hoary last year. This is a site I'm looking forward, hopefully, to see this year. They did go to nest last year. I didn't get anything. The hen was a younger hen, so she's had a year to mature, which I always think is a good thing with native British finches. So she's had a year to mature. I think one of the things that I will be doing over the next few weeks, I've collected some moss for them. So I'll use the moss, I'll use a little bit of animal hair as well. So I'll give them all of those things to hopefully encourage them to nest. So those are our goldfinches. The goldfinches and the bullfinches are, without a shadow of a doubt, the favourites for me. I've always owned a goldfinch for as long as I can remember, and I've not had them all of the time. Many people will tell you they're not afraid to die, but I have had goldfinches for as long as I can remember. Looking forward to seeing what these do this year for me. keep everything crossed. We'll follow their ups and downs right here on the Native Diaries. So the second species that we've got in focus today is the native bullfinch. Again, like the goldfinch, it's right up there with one of my favourite birds. They say you shouldn't have favourites, but I think the goldfinch and the bullfinch are pretty much right up there. Now, I have bred bullfinches in the past. I bred them in the flight cages in the Canary room. And it's been quite a sort of steady process. Now, I've put this pair together again. They have been separated. They are in a flight in a different room. They're in a flight, so relatively quiet in here, relatively peaceful in here, relatively undisturbed. And what I'm hoping is that that environment will encourage them to go to nest. They are an over-year pair. They did breed last year for the chap John, who I got them off, and I'm indebted to John for helping me out with them. Absolutely lovely birds they are. One of the things you'll notice is that I've got all natural perching in here. Now, there are 2 nest sites in here now. I had put those sites in when I put the natural perches in. I split the birds up for a while. I have put them back together. One of the interesting things with the bullfinch is that it'll only really use cocoa fibre to go to nest, so it builds a really nice nest out of cocoa fibre, and that's one of the things that we'll be hopefully seeing throughout the season. Now, when it comes to rearing young, they will take live food, so again, I'll be feeding these with some mealworms. Absolutely love peas for some reason or another, so I made sure there was plenty of peas, plenty of soaked seed, plenty of live food as well for them. And also, when the chicks first hatched, and actually throughout the rearing process, I made sure to give them plenty of apple as well. So they had apple on hand. I think that was really important for them. I think that sort of moisture and the sort of sugars, I guess, the natural sugars in the apple, did the young the world of good. One of the most terrifying things, and anyone who's ever owned bullfinches will tell you, is ringing bullfinches. So you ring the bullies, and the hens really do not like being interfered, the nests being interfered. And often what you'll find is that people lose birds because of the ringing process. Now, I've got IOA rings again this year, and they're blue, which means I'm going to have to colour them with plastic, or I'm going to have to cover them with a plaster, because if a bully sees that in the nest, she's likely to throw it out. I do ring them, they should be captive caught. Certainly if I was going to sell them in the UK, they'd need to be rung. So I will ring those birds, hoping, of course, that we have some young. So the flight the birds are in here is a 6-foot flight. It's about 3 foot wide, and it's about 7 foot high. So plenty of room in it. There are lots of apple branches, so the birds move in and out of the apple branches, and I've tried to recreate as much of a natural environment for them as I can. They are renowned for roosting and living in fruit trees and the like, so try to create that for them. The seed mix is slightly different. Again, these are front fed, so I've got a seed mix drawer that sort of pulls out. It just means I'm not disturbing them too much. The seed mix I use here has got lots of slightly bigger seeds in, and of course it's got some rowan in there as well, and rowan is one of the berries that they really, really enjoy. So, you've seen our goldfinches, you've seen our bullfinches. That's our Native Diaries for this week. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, give us a like, give us a thumbs up, hit the comments below. Next time out, we'll have a look at the siskins, we'll have a look at the twites, and we'll catch you the red poles. Until next time, everyone, take care.